Everyone, it's Nicole and we're going to do a bit of organizing today. And this was, I took a full day, which was on a Sunday, and I went upstairs and I went on the Ranger site first of all, and I downloaded two of their color-coded sheets. And you can use them for the oxides and the distress inks because they're the same colors. And then I printed those on some sticker paper. And then now I'm taking the time to peel them off and then stick them onto my pads. Now I have to say, I tried just taking off the sticker with my nail. That was awful. It wasn't working very well. Then I tried with a cutting knife, and it works somewhat if you go on the back side of the sticker and you just kind of score it. But you know, you always take the risk of cutting right through the sticker. What I found worked the best, and you'll see me at some point grab for it, is a pokey tool. And I go on the back side and I kind of poked through and just in between the sticker and the release sheet, and that worked the best. Now there's a couple of times that I poked right through the sticker, but all in all, it was the thing that worked the best. Now I have to say, these are the sticker sheet that were kind of not my favorite. I have some favorite sticker sheets that I print my letter stickers with. Those were not it. And of course, when I ordered those, I ordered 100 sheets. So I want to make sure that I use them. So these kinds of things, it's just the perfect thing for it. Now, if you go on the Ranger site, or even if you just Google, that's the way I found it, just Google Ranger's color chart, and then you can go right on their site, and then you can print off for the ink pads like this. You can print off some circles for your re-inkers, some for your paints. They have it all to keep you organized. Plus they have sheets that you can do some samplings, which I will do at some point. I want to do that for my distress crayons and my sprays and everything. But I figured what I'm doing right now, I'm organizing the places in my scrap room that needs it the most right now. Now, these ink pads, they were in 3 different drawers. And every time that I was looking for an ink pad, I had to go through all of it. And I can tell you, it makes it so that you don't use your stuff. Now, you'll see at the end of the video that I got some more of those media sticks, and my husband put them up on the wall. And I had my close to my heart inks, and those, I took those off. I did purchase more media sticks, and you know, my husband is going to put some more on the wall, but I wanted a place to put all of these. And since I was taking them all out so that I could put the color on it, I figured it was the perfect time to just put them up on the wall. So this is where I started with the pokey tool. And the first time I tried, it didn't really work. And then I thought, okay, I just got to find a way to get this. And then I just kind of persevered, and it worked. And then the more I did it, and believe me, there's I think 60 plus colors in the inks, and there's 60 plus colors in the oxides. And this was the perfect way to find out where I had the holes, like what was missing, especially in my inks, because I had most of the inks and I have only 3 inks missing. So then I was able to say, hey, these are the 3 inks I need. Another little tip is Tim Holtz has an app right now, and it's called the Tim Holtz Index. And if you go to his channel, his YouTube channel, and you go to the video where he talks about the Tim Holtz Index, there's a link on there where you can download the app for your phone. and it's amazing. So you go on the app and you go on the inventory and you log in, you create an account, you log in, and then this works everywhere. So even though, let's say if you don't have Wi-Fi, it'll still keep your list up to date. So let's say if I go to the scrapbook store, or even if I'm shopping online, I can just look at that app and say, oh, do I have, the refills for this ink? And I can tell right on that app. There's a little check mark that you can tick off which you have, and it's all divided by category. So it's like distress oxide, distress inks, the distress spray stain, and so on and so forth. And all Ranger products. So it's not just the Tim Holtz products, so you can keep track of your alcohol inks and everything. So everything is all on one app so that it can help with, double buying. So here I kind of show you just me doing the oxides, but once I was done the oxides, what I did was I took all of my inks out, and then I did the same thing with the inks. And if you notice here, like a lot of my ink pads aren't open. So what I did with the inks was I took the time before I started cutting everything up. I kind of opened up everything. And another thing I did too was cut down my stickers all at once. So then when I started, I was able to just have my, just everything was ready. The reason I thought this would be faster is I could pick up an ink and then I could easily find the matching ink because it was on sheets. But, once you start cutting them apart, you have to start digging through it anyway. And what I did was once I had them cut apart, I kind of spread them out on my desk. And then what I would do was I would look at a sticker and then I would try to find the ink. And of course, as more and more that you put together, the easier it is to find the corresponding sticker. It's one of those things that, yes, I'll admit, it took me a very long time. But now that it's done, I have a few pictures at the end where I show you how everything is up on the wall. Now I can just find the ink so much easier. And I have the mini distress inks, which are great for if you want to just add color to the side, of an embellishments, or around your paper. But if you want to do any kind of techniques with the distress inks, the small inks are just too small. So that's where the bigger inks are better for it. And now that, I've been kind of using them quite a bit, and I'm finding that I was not enjoying the process of trying to find all the inks that I needed. Now this is going to help so much. Now one thing that I did is when I put them up on the wall, of course I put all my distress inks together and all my distress oxides together. And if you didn't know, the outside casing of each is very different. So the oxide have a gray case and the inks have a black case. And then I put them on the wall in the order of the rainbow. So now I know exactly where they are. And then I also put them in the same order. So let's say if I started with fired brick for the red, for the oxide, when I went to the distress inks, I did the same thing. And then, if I didn't have, there's a lot of oxides that I have missing. So what I would do, even though the oxides are first on my wall and then the distress inks, what I did was once I had the distress inks all where they needed to be, when I did the oxides, I made sure to leave a hole there. So when I buy the ink, I don't have to shuffle down all the inks. I know that there's a place on my board or on my media sticks to put all those inks. So if that's something that you would like to do, I have it on my Amazon link down in the description box below. under scrapbooking, you can find those media sticks, and they fit perfectly a lot of different brands of inks. They fit the Distress inks and Oxide. They fit the Hero Arts. They fit the Simon Says stamp. They fit the Stampin' Up. Now, the only ones that I found that really didn't work well, I think it's the Alta New. Those ink pads, they didn't fit well in there, but that's okay. If it's only, a couple brands that doesn't fit, at least most of them I can put up on my wall. So once I had all of them all done up, and you can see the little labels that are left, those are all the oxides I still have to purchase, and I put those labels nice and safe inside my Creative Memories trimmer, because there's a little drawer there, and I put them all in there. So before I started putting them on the wall, I divided everything by color, and then I went from the lightest color to the darkest color when I put them up on the wall. Now, since I was on a roll, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do all my Hero Arts, my Simon Says stamp, and my favorite things stamp pads, because they were just next to my desk. I have this little white shelf, and they were all sitting there, but they were a pain to find because I had to almost take out every single ink pad in order to find the color that I wanted. So, of course, well, I don't think Hero Arts, I didn't even check to see if Hero Arts, do the same thing as Ranger and offer you like a sticker or a PDF that you could print out. I just thought of that right now. But what I did was I just went into my stash. I found these little label stickers, and then I am coloring it. At first, I used like a little makeup sponge, and I cut it in little pieces just so that I didn't waste, 15 makeup sponges. And then I would color that little sticker. It was a little too big for the side of the ink pad, so then I had to cut a little bit off the side, and then I would, off the side, each side of the sticker, so that it would fit on my ink pads. But that ended up working really well. So now again, those are going to be up on my wall, and that just by looking at the side of it, I'll be able to tell what color it is. At first I thought maybe I would put Simon Says stamp SSS and then put the name of the color, and then I really don't care if it's Simon Says stamp or Hero Arts or my favorite things. I just want to be able to find the color that matches the best when I'm trying to stamp. So I just ended up just doing the colors. So just make sure you have some baby wipes or something like that to clean your hands, because it is a messy situation. So after a while, I got tired about how messy it was, and then I ended up cutting the little sticker off that sheet, and then I would flip it over onto the ink pad, and I would color the sticker that way. So I think the last thing I just want to let you know is how long this took me to get this done. So I got, close to probably 40 ink pads in the Distress Oxides, over 60 ink pads with the Distress inks, and probably about 20-25 ink pads between the Hero Arts and the Simon Says stamp. I have to say I much more enjoyed doing the ink pads from Tim Holtz, because I had those stickers. My hands weren't getting messy or anything like that. But I'm just glad that it's all done. So I started at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I worked till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And that was also, cleaning up my mess, and then arranging the ink pads on those media sticks in the correct order that I wanted. That took me a while too, because I was kind of being fussy on how I wanted them. But all in all, we'll say about 5 hours, and now everything has a place, and I can find the ink pads much easier. And I have to say, it looks kind of cute on the wall. I really like them on the wall. So that's what I'm going to be doing, throughout this series. This is going to be an organization series. I've tried to do this several times, and then I just always would do just a few videos and I would stop. So this time around, I'm going to try and stick with it and get my room cleaned up and organized the way that I want to. So be looking for that. Every Tuesday, I'll be uploading some kind of area in my room that I, deem problematic, and I'm going to kind of fix it. So this might give you some ideas to organize your own scrap room, or even if it just gives you motivation to get started, and get your scrap room all organized. Now I'm going to come to you real time, and I'm going to show you, how the inks look up on the wall. And I also have a couple of pictures at the end of this where, I show you the media sticks up on the wall, and also that little white shelf that I was talking about, where these ink pads, the Simon Says ink pads and the Hero Arts, where they sat, and it freed up that shelf. So now I can, put my tins that hold the little tins that hold my archival inks, and also my brushes for the dye inks and the crayons. And in my craft room, it also freed up 3 drawers. So 3 drawers and a shelf that it freed up by putting this up on the wall. And so stay tuned for the real time, and thanks for watching. Okay, so I thought I would show you just a quick clip of how the first one are my distress oxides, then my distress inks, and over here it is Hero Arts, and I just have a few Simon Says stamps and my favorite things. So yay, took me all of Sunday, but it is done.